President-elect Marcos Jr. has yet to pick an energy chief for his cabinet as consumers struggle with higher costs of electricity, fuel, and basic goods and services. What steps should the Marcos government take to address this crisis? Let's get the insights of Energy Regulatory Commission Chairperson Agnes Devanadera. Ma'am Agnes, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. You will still continue to be the ERC chief past June 30 and during the Marcos Jr. administration. What should be his priority to address rising power costs?
Well, it's a matter of the supply is quite thin, and therefore, just like any other economic commodity, there's that direct relation between supply and demand. However, the Energy Regulatory Commission has two important programs that can lower down electricity. We have the retail competition and open access, or in short, the ARCOA, and people will be able to can avail of this program if they are if they consume an average peak demand of 500 kilowatts. So mataas yan, Rico. So if you do not consume that much, then people or the consumers can do an aggregation. They can group themselves together until they have that average peak demand, monthly average peak demand for at 500 kilowatts.
Yes, ma'am.
Like condominium.
Yeah, ma'am, you mentioned about this retail aggregation program. Which areas are qualified to be considered as aggregate groups?
Well, they must be contiguous. One good example is what we launched last week, which is the UP Diliman system, the UP Diliman campus. There are about 147 individual buildings and meters. And now when they, of course, they do not consume, each building does not consume 500 kilowatts. But when they aggregated, when the UP campus aggregated or grouped together the 140 plus buildings, and of course represented by a meter, then they obtained a monthly average peak demand of 500 kilowatts. Mm-hmm. So that was a decision, and no less than President Danny Concepcion was there, and Meralco, of course. So how do we avail of that? You have to go to your distribution utility. In our case, it is Meralco, because this is the franchise area of Meralco. And Meralco shall guide you step by step.
So, ma'am, despite these programs, the Philippines still has one of the highest power rates in the region due to its excessive reliance on imported coal and diesel. Where are we at right now in diversifying the energy supply mix into safer, cheaper, and cleaner energy sources such as biomass, geothermal, solar, hydro, ocean, and wind power?
Well, that's what we call, we must be able to determine the energy mix. That's what we call it. How much should be from solar, how much should be from coal, because coal is now being, you don't have any growth anymore in the number of power plants using coal. That's really a worldwide trend. And no funding will come, or no financing can be made available if you're putting up coal. So again, we have to tap the cheaper sources of energy. The renewable energy is one such source. However, there is the intermittency factor. Like in solar, when it's not always, the sun may not be there all the time. Sabi nga nung matatanda, pag may ulap yan, wala na yung sun. Mm-hmm. So that is the intermittency. And therefore, any renewable energy plant should, as a matter of policy, this is the recommendation of ERC, is that there should be a policy by government that whenever we put up renewable energy, there must be a technology to address the intermittency. And now we have as technology the battery energy storage system. So dapat kambal
Right.
sila.
They work hand in hand. They're complementary.
They must.
What about,
They
ma'am,
must.
nuclear energy? There have been a lot of talk about it. Should it be part of the energy mix? Should the mothballed Bataan nuclear power plant be reactivated? Should it be rehabilitated?
Okay. First, should nuclear be part of the energy mix? That is the decision that should be made by the national government. Because nuclear is one of the cheaper sources of energy. The second is, should the mothballed Bataan nuclear plant be resurrected? You know, the retrofitting alone will cost us so much. And there is now new technology. You have modular, so you don't have to come up with as big a plant as the Bataan nuclear plant. The technology has changed.
Right.
So we can have the modular.
So, where do we build this modular nuclear facility? Because scientists are saying that the Bataan nuclear power facility is unsafe due to a potentially active volcano in the area. So, where should this new technology, in your view, where should it be built? So at least we can have nuclear energy and cheaper power rates.
Well, definitely we have, we don't have to have just one. That's why it's modular. It can be spread all over the Philippines. So there are many areas which are not along the fault lines, and therefore those are where we should be putting up these plants. And it's not just the nuclear plants, the modular plants that we should be looking off those potentially dangerous areas. All power plants should actually be guided as to where they should be put up.
Ma'am, final question. We said this at the top. The Marcos Jr. administration still does not have an energy secretary. If offered the portfolio, will you accept it? Have you discussed this? Because your name has always come up on the short list with the president-elect.
Well, probably the reason why I am in the shortlist is because I am very visible as ERC chair and CEO, and I just put it at that. I'm doing my work and the best of my ability as is ERC chair and CEO. Let's put it at that.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. ERC Chairperson Agnes Devanadera.